Hey everyone, it's been a long time since I've made a video, and I thought this would be the perfect weekend for it. I'm on tour right now with Luke Combs, who is a country artist, and he's doing a run of stadium shows throughout the US, so I am on 15 weeks of stadium shows with him. We did 2 shows back to back, had last weekend off, and now I'm about to embark on 10 weekends straight of these shows. I wanted to take the camera along with me just to kind of document and show you what it's like behind the scenes and in front of the camera kind of throughout one of these weekends. So this right here is basically all I bring for the weekend. I don't need a crazy cinema built rig. I don't need my camera to look cool for no reason. I want it to be light because I'm carrying it around a stadium, and stadiums are huge. So I've got the Canon C70 here. This is what we're shooting the whole tour on. It's stripped down basically as light as I can, minus this top plate right here. I have the Sigma 24-70. I love this lens. And I have the speed booster adapter on here, but I kind of switch between speed booster and the non-speed booster adapter just depending on the type of shots I'm trying to get. I run this monitor, and I have this little sun hood. So if I'm shooting outside, it goes right on here and takes care of any of the unwanted glare. Obviously, cards, batteries, charger, the Ronin RS3 Pro, which I just picked this up on the first show. This is pretty much the only lens I use all weekend. I've got the 16-35 on this camera right now that I'm filming on, and then I also have the Rode mic that I put on this. That's also on this camera right now. All right, so for this weekend, I've got one more case than I usually bring. I've got my backpack, I've got my carry-on Nanuk case, and then I'm going to check my luggage here that just has clothing and some extras in there. This has my Ronin, extra lens and a couple accessories, and then the rest of the camera stuff lives in here. Time to go to the airport. All right, just made it to Nashville. I didn't want to bore you with all of the travel and the mundane part of that because there really is nothing interesting during a travel day. So I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna go right to bed. We have a long day tomorrow starting with show number 1, so I will see you all in the morning.
Good morning.
You ready to be on the greatest low-tier desk setup tech YouTubers vlog this weekend?
Amazing, I'm in, let's go.
Yeah, took out your word. You said no rush.
We're out here getting some city B-roll, some empty shots of the stadium before it fills up. This is kind of like always the first step whenever we shoot these shows. We're usually here a day earlier for sound check, but since they added a second show here, our first day is now a show day. This is probably the busiest part of the day right now, just getting this B-roll, and then we'll go back, kind of chill, get some stuff of the crowd coming in, and then wait till Luke's set. So
I'm gonna shoot them all at every lens focal length, and like on the AT&T thing. It's all about that mouth sound effects.
the scale of this tour is insane, and the fact that I'm a part of it is also insane. Because I started from the very, very bottom, and I get questions a lot of like, how did you get in the industry? How did you get to shoot these shows? Like being here at the stadium, it's easy to just say, oh, you know, start from the beginning. But truly, that's how it is. Like, this isn't just how it happened. This is 7 years into this that I'm finally, you know, doing a tour of this scale. From the very beginning, I started just filming local shows in my hometown, shows for like 10 to 15 people, just kind of getting my hands on a camera. And then moving to LA, I was just trying to figure out like, how could I get into the industry? And at the time that was the electronic dance music industry. And I stumbled upon a company that like specifically shot music festivals. I applied for a job, a full-time job, when it just happened to pop up and someone told me about it. And that was kind of my first entry into the music industry at that level. So I worked full-time for them for a little bit and filmed a ton of music festivals around the US. but I wanted to get onto the artist side. So when I was doing that, I was only shooting for the festival, which is a little different. It's a different structure than shooting for an artist directly, and I really wanted to shoot for an artist directly. So just from shooting those festivals and kind of going to different shows and like industry things in Los Angeles, which definitely helped, but was not the only reason why I was able to do it. And so I just met industry people from there. I met music managers, I met small artists, and I just eventually was able to get a gig here and a gig there, very sporadic, never like full-time for anyone. And after 3 years of that, you know, I had a lot of close opportunities, never really happened, and then the timing just lined up, and there was a group called Galantis that was looking for a full-time person, and the timing and the people that I was working with at the time, it all just lined up, and I was able to start shooting shows for them, and then they brought me on full-time, and I did that for like a year and a half before branching off. And again, it's easy for me to sit here and be like, oh, you just gotta start small and stay patient, because I remember people telling me the same thing, and I would just get so frustrated because I'm like, I'm doing that and it's not working. But that's kind of like the basis of how I got into this. I'll go a little more into detail about what you should do in kind of your first steps to getting in this, especially now that we're post-pandemic and things have changed a little bit. But doors are about to open, so I gotta keep shooting, and I will see you on a little bit. All right, so we are 1 hour away from the show. This is kind of like the slow period for us because we're not filming any other artist. We're only filming Luke, the headliner. So we're just kind of hanging out until then, making sure all of our batteries are charged, all of our cards are dumped and ready to go. This is Joseph. What would you tell people who are like trying to get into this side of filming?
Reach out to any artist, get on artist Instagram accounts, try and figure out who their manager is. Most artists only follow a small amount of people. So figure out who they're following, go find someone who looks like might be a part of their actual like internal team. Follow that person, DM that person, express your desire to shoot for that artist, and offer to do a couple shows for free. I remember the first few artists I shot for, back when I was in high school. I did a lot of shows for free back in high school, so it's a great way to start.
Show number one, ready to go. Also, I apologize, Zach, you have to sift through this vlog footage. Let's do it for Pat. It is day 2, and I didn't even like summarize day 1 because we just went straight back to the hotel after the show and went right to bed. But we have another day here. So this is kind of the excitement that goes on behind the scenes before doors open. Just people cleaning up from last night, making sure everything's prepped. There's a lot of moving parts around here. There's everyone from the floor security up there to people setting up the bar, to the merch, to the stage and front of house and all of that. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in the background. I don't really want to take the camera like behind the stage. I don't want to overstep and like film things that might be kind of a security threat. So I very much want to keep this on the outside looking in, but I do want to, you know, show you as much as I can because it is cool to see all this behind the scenes. I still to this day never get used to it. One thing I wanted to talk about is how did I get on this tour, because that's probably what a lot of people will ask is, okay, so you told me what I should do to get into this industry. How did you get to this point? Basically, the story is Zach Massey. He's the one who hired me and my buddy Joseph and my buddy Spencer. I've known him since like 2018, and I just like hit him up on Instagram or Twitter one day. We started following each other, and at the time I was working in the electronic dance music space, so I was touring full-time with an artist. So we had the connection as far as working in the music industry that kind of, you know, we were able to spring a friendship off of that. And we knew each other for years, and we would just kind of, you know, chat about stuff we're working on and other projects. And we'd always talk about like how cool it would be to like work with each other one day on a project whenever it makes sense to. Last summer, Luke did his first run of stadium shows. So we did like 4 stadium shows, and Zach hit me up and he hit up Joseph, who he also knew just kind of mutually. and he was like, hey, I think we finally are able to like bring out multiple people to film these shows because I need a little bit of help. And we did those 4 shows with him last summer, and he basically said, you know, if this goes well, we're gonna do a full stadium tour in 2023, and I would love to have you guys on it. So we'll kind of see. Everything worked out, and you know, they saw how beneficial it was to have multiple people filming these shows, because it is a lot more like covering a festival versus just a single show. And that's kind of how we landed on all of this. So it was definitely built on a friendship, and eventually things just kind of worked out. All the timing worked out to where there was a need to bring us on. And one thing, I think it's very important to never build your friendships and your networks purely based on opportunity. I never expected Zach to ever bring me on any of his projects, neither did he expect us to ever bring him on any of his projects. I never expect Joseph to bring me on any of his projects. Same goes, you know, we've built a friendship, and through that friendship, when the timing works out to naturally come onto a project, that's when it happens, and this so happened to naturally come about. And I hope all of this stuff is somewhat helpful to you. I know it's just kind of word vomit, and I'm just relaying my experiences, and that may not be helpful, or maybe just hearing the process of what I went through is a little helpful. Hopefully that's the case, because I always felt like that was helpful to me whenever I was trying to get into this industry. But all that to be said, we've got a couple hours left. We're gonna wait until doors open at 5. We're gonna film that, and then we'll film a little bit of pre-show stuff, and then we're waiting on Luke to go on at 9, so we got a couple hours to kill. All right, show's over. That is a wrap on Nashville's weekend. Now begins the not so glamorous side of touring, and that is the fact that it is 12:45 a.m. and I need to board my flight at 6:25. So I need to be to the airport probably at like 5:30, check my bags and everything. So I gotta leave the hotel 5:15 to be safe. I still gotta pack everything, probably won't be in bed until like 1:30 or so. Not as bad as some other weekends. Sometimes I have literally like 2 hours of sleep, but I'm going to go ahead and pack everything up so I can get to bed, and I'm gonna end the video right here. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I'm not really sure by the time I cut all of this how it's all gonna come together. I hope there was some valuable information in this video. I hope some of this helped you. Let me know in the comments if you wanna see more of these types of videos, because I have 13 weeks left of this tour, so there's a lot of content that I can make around it. Anyways, I'll see you all in the next video. Later. Bye.